There is someone you love, and there is a moment. You know this moment, when they go slightly quiet, slightly distant. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe it's been a rough day, but you are already gone. One person in this situation opens their phone and starts typing, deletes it, types again, checks if the message was read, checks again. Their chest is tight. Their brain is running 100 simulations of what this silence means. And none of them are good. Another person in the exact same situation does something different. They feel a strange wave of relief. Finally, some space. They tell themselves they were getting a little too close anyway. They put the phone down and feel nothing. Or at least, that's what they tell themselves. Two completely different reactions. Same situation. Same silence. You think it's your personality, your character, just the way you're wired. It's not. What you just felt is a 3-year-old child surviving. That child is still running your nervous system right now, and they have absolutely no idea that you already grew up. Here's a brutal fact about human biology. A human infant is the most helpless creature on the planet. A foal can run within hours of being born. A human baby can't even hold its own head up for months. For our ancestors, that meant one thing. An infant without a protector nearby was a dead infant. Evolution solved this problem without compromise. It hardwired one singular program into the infant brain. Stay close to whoever protects you, at any cost. For a long time, scientists believed babies attached to their mothers simply because mothers provided food. Then in the 1950s, a psychologist named Harry Harlow ran an experiment that changed everything and disturbed everyone who saw it. He gave infant monkeys 2 artificial mothers. One was made of cold wire, but it dispensed milk. The other was made of soft terry cloth, but gave no food at all. Every instinct said the monkey should bond with the one that fed it. Instead, the infant monkeys spent nearly all their time clinging to the cloth mother. They only went to the wire mother to feed, and immediately ran back. When frightened, they didn't run toward food. They ran toward softness, toward comfort, toward felt safety. Harlow had just proven that emotional connection is a biological need, not a bonus, a need, as fundamental as food. Around the same time, a psychiatrist named John Bowlby was studying children in post-war orphanages across Europe. Food covered, warmth covered, shelter covered. Their physical needs were perfectly met. The children were wasting away. Some stopped developing, some stopped eating, some just faded. The human brain does not survive without emotional connection. That's not a metaphor, it's neurobiology. And in the first years of life, the brain asks one question over and over again. If I cry, will someone come? How your caregivers answered that question became your code. It's running. Right now, in the 1970s, a researcher named Mary Ainsworth designed a deceptively simple experiment called The Strange Situation. A mother and her toddler in a room with toys. A stranger walks in. The mother leaves, then returns. Ainsworth wasn't watching how the child reacted when mom walked out. Almost all toddlers cry when mom leaves. She was watching what happened when mom came back. She didn't find 2 types of behavior, not 3, 4. And when she saw the third one clearly for the first time, she reportedly said she hadn't expected it to be so heartbreaking. Type 1, securely attached. The child cried, reached for the mother, calmed down quickly, went back to playing. The brain had learned one simple rule. The world is safe. People are reliable. I will be caught if I fall. About 60% of people have this style. It doesn't mean a perfect childhood. It means a consistent one. Type 2, anxiously attached. The child was inconsolable, clung to the mother, and simultaneously hit her, demanded closeness and raged at it. Their caregivers had been inconsistent, warm one day, dismissive the next, preoccupied, sometimes simply unreachable emotionally. The child never knew which version of the parent was walking through the door, so the brain learned a terrifying rule. Love is scarce. I have to scream. Cling, monitor every signal, or it will disappear. About 20% of people. Type 3, avoidantly attached. The mother left. Barely a reaction. The mother returned. The child ignored her, just kept playing with the toys. For decades, researchers thought these were independent, resilient kids, psychologically healthy, even admirable. Then they put heart rate monitors on them. Their pulses were through the roof, cortisol spiking. They were panicking in complete silence. Their caregivers had consistently rejected or dismissed their bids for comfort. Not necessarily cruel, sometimes just emotionally unavailable. Stop crying, you're fine. Go play. So the brain learned the loneliest rule of all. No one is coming. Showing need brings pain. I can only rely on myself. About 15% of people. Type 4. Disorganized attachment. This is the type almost nobody talks about, which is exactly why it's the most destructive. Imagine this: the only person who is supposed to protect you is also the source of your fear, a caregiver who is simultaneously comforting and frightening. Unpredictable, sometimes explosive, sometimes tender. There is no pattern you can learn, no behavior that reliably produces safety. The infant brain receives an impossible command: run to them for safety and run from them. They are dangerous. At the exact same time, the system breaks. Ainsworth described these children literally freezing in the middle of the room. The brain couldn't choose a survival strategy, so it chose none. Some rocked back and forth, some moved toward the mother, and then suddenly stopped, mid-step, as if an invisible wall had appeared. In adulthood, this looks like a person who falls fast and hard, demands total closeness, and then, the moment someone actually opens up to them, panics and starts burning it down. They don't have a complicated personality. They have a nervous system that never received a basic answer to the question, is it safe to love? We grow up. The code does not. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between your mother ignoring you in 1998 and your partner not replying to your message today at 2:32 p.m. If you're anxiously attached, you reread their last message 12 times. The interpretation shifts every time. You write a long, careful response, then delete it. Write it again. You're not seeking confirmation of love. You are trying to survive. If you're avoidantly attached, the moment someone gets genuinely close, you start noticing irritating little things about them you never saw before. You convince yourself something is fundamentally off about the relationship. You disappear. You call it needing space. What it actually is, your brain activating a defense mechanism 1 second before you could be hurt. If you're disorganized, you fall in love fast and completely. You want full merging, total closeness. And then, when someone actually gives it to you, when they actually show up, panic floods in. You start dismantling it, because genuine intimacy is the most terrifying place you've ever been. Now here's the part that explains why so many relationships feel like they're designed to fail. Anxious and avoidant people are magnetically drawn to each other. The anxious person feels electricity around the avoidant. That emotional unpredictability feels familiar, like the inconsistent parent they spent their childhood trying to win over. The avoidant person initially finds the anxious person's intensity flattering, even exciting. Then the dynamic locks in. The anxious partner pushes for closeness. The avoidant partner pulls back. The anxious partner panics and pushes harder. The avoidant partner feels suffocated and withdraws further. Both are now triggering each other's deepest wounds, perfectly, relentlessly, while genuinely believing they just picked the wrong person. They didn't pick the wrong person. They picked the most familiar wound. Can this actually change? Yes, but not the way most self-help content tells you. Neuroscientist Dan Siegel calls it our insecure attachment. Research consistently shows that adults across all 4 attachment types can shift towards security. The mechanism is not insight. It's not awareness alone. It's not reading the right book, including whatever book you're thinking of right now. First, name it out loud in the moment. When anxiety floods your system, or when you feel the sudden urge to vanish, say it out loud. My nervous system is reacting to an old threat. That threat is not here. This is not an affirmation. This is literally switching activation from your limbic system to your prefrontal cortex. The naming creates the gap between impulse and action. That gap is everything. Second, corrective experience, not insight. The brain rewrites old patterns through repeated new experience, not through understanding them. A concrete example, the anxiously attached person sits with an unanswered message for 2 hours without reaching out. and discovers that when their partner finally replies, they hadn't left, hadn't stopped loving them, had simply been busy. The nervous system logs that. One data point is not enough, but 50 of them over months. That's a rewrite. The avoidant person stays in the room when everything says run and discovers that closeness didn't destroy them. That's a rewrite too. Third, for disorganized attachment, therapy is not optional, not because you're broken, but because this pattern forms when the attachment system itself was the source of trauma. The person who was supposed to be your safe harbor was also the storm. Rewiring that alone is like trying to repair an engine while the car is moving at full speed. A skilled therapist, particularly one trained in trauma-informed approaches, is not a luxury here. It's the infrastructure that makes the other two steps possible. The code was written before you could speak, before you had words for safety or love or fear. But the brain is not a sentence. It is a living system, and living systems adapt. Now that you can see the code, you can finally choose to rewrite it.